so happy Wednesday. Welcome to our project number 3 in our Frightfully Cute class. And today we're going to start, we won't finish because it's going to be kind of detailed, but we're going to start our Pinwheel card, and it's darling. So I think today what we'll do is we'll do our stamping, and then Friday we'll put it together and do our die cutting and put it together. Okay, so if you look in your kit, I've already gotten out what we need today, but you've got lots of little pieces of stuff in here. So basically all of this stuff here we're going to need on next class. Most of the colored cardstock, you've got some bats in there. So let me show you what you're going to need today. And you can see why this is going to be a two-parter, because it is, when I put it on YouTube, I might do it as one video, but for us, we're going to do it in 2 sections. So if you get your stuff out of the envelope, what you'll need is everything that's basic white is coming out. There's no basic white left in there. So get all your basic white out. And then you also need, there's 2 pieces of So Saffron yellow. That is 2 3/4 by 3. You'll need those because we're going to be stamping on those. So we're doing our stamping today. That's that, and then this is the only colored cardstock you need. This is a piece of basic black that's 2 1/2 by 5 1/2. We're going to be die cutting a couple of spider webs from that, and then this DSP we will be stamping on, so you'll need that. And it is 1 inch by 5 3/8. So the striped, that's 1 inch by 5 3/8. These 2 pieces of So Saffron, 2 3/4 by 3, and then your black. We won't be stamping on this, but this will help us to know where to stamp on this. This is 2 1/2 by 5 1/2. Black for spider web die cuts. Now, I'm kind of confused about where to start because we have so much to do. So if you get your white out, your basic white, go ahead and get it out and separate it by sizes. Some you have 2 pieces, some you have 1 piece, and you have three of these. Okay, so get your white out and separate it. Okay, so once you get your whites straightened out, you should have 3 pieces of basic white that are 1 1/2 by 2. Those are going to be die cut. So we can put those 3, 1 1/2 by 2, we can put those in here with our die cuts. We're not going to stamp on those today. Everything else is going to be stamped on. Let's see. And we will be doing some embossing if you want to do embossing. We have the powder. You'll need some kind of the buddy. What do they call that? Embossing buddy. I use this from EK Success. It's a powder tool. And you'll need some Versamark. You're going to need your clear embossing powder. And you'll need Memento Black and pumpkin pie. Let me grab my pumpkin pie. All right. Get my ink. Okay, now if you don't want to do the embossing, you don't have to, but especially on the moon here And here the embossing makes it stand out much more. I embossed this. I embossed this. I embossed this and this. And I didn't emboss this, but I could have. And I think that's it for the embossing. But this is a cute card. So let's get started. Let's get our inks and our stamps. These labels are from the Hippo Happiness Hippo Happiness dies. I think it is the smallest rectangle from Hippo Happiness. These are really tiny from Messages dies. We'll be stamping on those. Everything else is just cut basic white paper, and I'll give you the dimensions. So let's start with the things that are going to be embossed. This is going to be embossed. Which Way to the Candy is going to be embossed. Frightfully, I didn't emboss that. This will be embossed, and this will be embossed. This is not embossed. This is not embossed. This is not embossed, but you could emboss it if you wanted to. And this is embossed. Okay. So the non-embossed stuff we'll do. We should do that first, I guess. So everything else is going to go over here. But you know, this is going to need to be die cut, so let's go ahead and grab our die cut machine, and let's just die cut that right now. That's the only die cutting we'll be doing today. And we're going to die cut 2 spider webs with this. And this is a little different, like I said, from the big one. We got a 1 plate, a 2 plate, our spider web, and another 2 plate. Make sure that's on there. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so I don't want to miss anything. Okay, this one is a big die, and it kind of chokes on that one. It's like swallowing a big pill. If you've ever swallowed a big pill, it's like that. That's the machine is having a little bit of trouble swallowing that big pill. But I'm going to take this off camera here. I'm just going to use my die brush. You can see the die brush really makes a difference in getting that off. And if you have to, you can always poke it out with the little pointy part. So we need 2 of these. So that's 1. Let me clean this off. And then we're going to do 2. Our second one. So yeah, this is the only die cutting we'll be doing today. See it choke again. Which isn't a problem, except that the paper underneath likes to move and then it rips my paper. So I'm trying to make it so it's not ripping my paper. If I had it on the table, it wouldn't be a problem. But you can see how it pulled my paper up. Okay. Now, let's do this one. starts to curl, just turn it over and it'll curl the other way. So normally I don't do things this detailed, but I wanted to make a card that would be something that you would want to display, or whoever you give it to will want to display it as Halloween decoration as well as a card. And it's visible from all sides. So if somebody sets this up on their desk or whatever at work, it can be seen from all angles. All right, so the non-embossing. This one is going to be on the front of our card. This is the front, and it does fit in a regular sized envelope. You're so sweet, it's scary. So let's get out our Stamparatus. All right, so these are rubber stamps, and you're going to want your 4x6 window sheet, which is also red, you can tell. And you're going to stamp You're So Sweet, It's Scary. And we're going to stamp that on our plastic with our Memento Black ink. And then we're going to put this on. I keep a piece of scratch paper that has a little bit of snail. I just went on it and make it a little sticky. And then I'm going to slide that under. That'll show me where that's going to stamp. And then I can just line that up. It is a little bit of a tight fit, but it will fit in there. And you want it to be nice because it's going to be on the front of the card. I give you 2 of these because sometimes, you know, things don't work out the way we want, and then sadness. These are not photopolymer, so I'm not going to need to use my tape to hold that down because it's not going to stick like the photopolymer does. Okay, I'm just going to do one lightly more because it is the front and I want it nice and rich. Oh yeah, You're So Sweet, It's Scary. So we'll clean that off. And I'll clean off my plastic. Dry it off. Now we're going to do this tiny little, and I take it, I'm going to twist it off, not pull it, twist it. Now we're going to do the little one. And what is the little one? The little one is Cute. And that's from the Messages dies. It's tiny. It's tiny, tiny. I'm going to put that on the sticky part of that. Get our Cute. Because this is Frightfully Cute, we are probably going to have to mask that when we stamp it. And we know how to mask, right? We just get our washi tape or whatever you have. This is the removable Scotch tape, which you can get at Amazon or Office Depot. Okay, so I'm not going to remove that tape. I'm just going to leave it like that because I can line this up. Frightfully Cute, line up the cute. Some people cut their stamps if they want to use it. I wouldn't do that. I think it's easier to just mask it. So I'm going to ink that up again. This time I will remove that and then stamp my cute. There we go, cute. But that's a way that you can make your stamps go further, by masking off parts of it. Okay, and then I'll wipe off my plastic. What is next? What was the other? Okay, this is Frightful, and we will be die cutting that, so let's take this off and put it over here. This one, Frightfully. So I guess this time we're going to mask the, let me see if I can, maybe I should do it this way. I don't want to get those too close. All right, so we're going to use the same stamp, but we're going to do, and you know, I don't know if we need to, I don't know if we need to mask that cute. Let's just go ahead and mask it, because I can't remember if I just stamped it and cut it or what. So let's just mask cute. And make sure I cover up that C, because I don't want any of the rubber underneath getting, maybe if I do it this way. I don't want any of the other rubber, just the Frightfully getting some ink. I think you can see why we're doing this in two parts. This is really detailed, but it'll be worth it when you're done. And hopefully you'll learn something along the way. Okay, so that will be die cut later, but we're not going to die cut it today because we're not doing our die cutting today. So that's everything that isn't going to be embossed. Now you don't have to emboss the rest of this, but it's up to you if you want. Okay, so this one is Which Way. It's 1 by 1. We're going to do Which Way, and it's going to be Which Way to the Candy in black. So we will, I think we're going to have to put this here on this, and then I'm just going to get this powder and quickly do that, because I don't want it to be, I don't want the static electricity to make the powder stick where it's not supposed to. So let's get our Which Way to the Candy. This is going to be tight, but we can do it. I have faith in you that you can do this. So Memento Black, Which Way to the Candy. That's a 1 by 1 piece of basic white. Awesome, looking good. Maybe I should just put that over there and not try to close it every time. Okay, now before I do anything else, first I have to clean off this ink. I don't want that ink on my Versamark pad, and I'm going to dry it off. And if you're not sure if it's dried, you can take a piece of scratch paper if you have something. I'll use the back of this because I'm gonna, and just make sure you get all the wet off of it. Then you're gonna take your Versamark, ink this up really good. Don't be shy about it. And then you're going to stamp it on the which way to the candy. So this is kind of like a glue. I'm going to put this here so that doesn't dry on there. Which way to the candy. I'm going to bring this over here, and again this time put my powder on there, and this time it's going to stick because I put the Versamark on it. Okay, and put the powder away. Get out the heat gun on number 2. Make sure it gets nice and hot. And then you're going to see it, the magic, as it starts to turn blacker. But you don't want it, once it's black, you don't want to do it anymore because you can actually burn it. So, all right, you can see how much brighter that is. Oh, I'll show you the original one. That's the original one, and then this is the one that's embossed. So if you're having doubts of whether you want to emboss or not, that kind of gives you a reason to go to the trouble to do it. You can see the top is embossed, the bottom is not. Okay, so that's one. We are going down the row here. Next, we're going to stamp. Let's stamp our moons next. Now these we're going to die cut with our circles, but you can see our little embossed bats. So let's grab our bat and get my bat. This is a cute little bat too. I think the cat and the pumpkin are the only ones I didn't use. So your bat's going to be kind of flying towards a corner, and so when you die cut it, let me get the circle die. You can see you just want to kind of do it in the center so that your bat can be flying. Okay. I'm going to put that in the corner. That way I can just slide this one in there and it's going to be in the same spot. Make sure that it is flying to that corner there, and it is. Now this is going to be embossed, so we're going to treat this with our powder. There. Mostly the part that we're going to be embossing. There's our little bat. Now this is the first time you've used this stamp. You might have to do this a few times because you're going to do what I like to call seasoning the stamp. The ink tends to want to stick better after you've used a stamp a few times. Okay, one more time ought to do it. So I'm going to have to dry that off. And do the Versamark. Otherwise, if I put it in the corner, I could have done them the same time. Okay, Versamark. Just make sure I get lots of Versamark on there. That's my glue for my powder. And then here's my powder. I definitely don't want to get any of that on my Stamparatus. I like to tap it and blow it. And then number 2 on this. Heats up really fast. All right, so watch my bat. You see it turning black. How cute. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this one. Clean that off. Get all that gooey stuff off. I wish I had put that in the corner perfectly, and then it wouldn't have been a problem, but I didn't. So it would be hard trying to get it perfect. All right, so we're gonna do this. So there's no static. Then we're gonna do our Memento Black. Like I said, that acts like a sponge, so that's why I'm doing it so much. All right, that's good. Now I'm going to do my Versamark. First, clean off that black ink. There's our glue, so to speak. And now our powder. Okay, there's our bats. We'll die cut those in our next one. What is next? Let's do our spider. Now, this is our spider, and this is our web. So we're going to cut this in half, but we're going to leave one side. That center web is going to be, we're going to use this and discard this. And it's going to go like right here. So that'll give us an idea where we want our little spider to be. So let's grab our spider. He's a cute little spider too. He's gonna go here. Now, let me go ahead and put this in here. Put that in place. So we want the spider to look like the web, like it's coming from the web. So I'm guessing that's about where we want it. And you can use those lines to kind of get it straight. So now I'm going to remove the web because I don't need that. Ink this up with our Memento Black. This is just a darling little set. If you haven't gotten it, you definitely want to get it. So yeah, Maria, I hate to mess up on camera, but I probably will edit out my mess up when I do my YouTube, when I edit it for YouTube. Okay, so we got that. Then we're going to dry it to make sure. And then, you know, I forgot to do this, but never fear, it's not too late. Now we're going to do the Versamark. Because if we don't do the Versamark, it ain't gonna work. I'll do just a little bit. And this technique makes things pop, especially since I'm doing this on, oh, I better stamp it, huh? It won't do any good. I'm doing it on DSP. DSP also likes to suck in the ink, so it won't show up nearly as well if I don't do the embossing. It's just an extra step that takes just a little bit of extra time, but makes such a big difference in how it turns out. And clear embossing powder is the easiest of all, I think, because it gives you more leniency as far as making mistakes if you don't stamp it just perfect. And there's our little spider, and isn't he just popping right off the page? Okay, so there's that. What is next? Let's do this is 2.5 by 3.5. We're going to do Happy Halloween, and we will be die cutting that. But we don't need to worry about so Happy Halloween to you, and I'm just going to do the Halloween. I can't remember if I just cut it or if I let's just go ahead and mask it. And then cover up the 2U, because I can't remember if I just cut it or if I actually masked it. So I'm getting that nice and inky. And then I'm going to remove that. Happy Halloween. And now we have to stamp it with the Versamark. So let me clean that off and dry it. Ink it up. Not ink it up. Now I did forget to use the brush, but I don't want to use the brush on the actual Happy Halloween, because guess what? It's ink. That ink hasn't dried, and if I try to do that, it is just going to, whoops, that's the wrong one. it's just going to smear the ink. So oops, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the ink instead of the Versamark. Duh. Okay. I love this removable ink. Removable ink. Removable tape from Scotch. All right, let's see if we can stamp that down. I think that's enough, but you know, I'm just gonna do it again because I can, just to make sure. Now, clean that off. Be sure to get all the sticky off of there. And bring this over. Do my powder. Seems like a lot of work, and it is. This is not something you would make a lot of. This is more like a piece of work of art. This is not something that you are going to do a lot of. All right, so here we have less tricking, more treating. That's in pumpkin. This one is Batty for You. That's in pumpkin. I think that's all we have left for our stamping. We've got Cute, Frightfully, Batty for You is that. We've got Happy Halloween, Less Tricking, More Treating is that. We've got this. We've got our bats. We've got our Which Way. All right. So we're going to switch to pumpkin pie now. So we'll wipe this off. I don't know if we're going to need that or not. So let's do the Less Tricking, More Treating. That's going to be die cut, I believe, with the circle die. Right? Yeah. So Less Tricking, More Treating. We'll do that with pumpkin pie first. And I don't know how much pumpkin pie ink I have in there. I think I ordered a refill, but I don't know if I've refilled it yet. It doesn't look like it. Wow, not really very pumpkin pie-ish, is it? Okay, well, it's gonna work for me. It's just gonna have to work. All right, and again, I forgot to do the powder, so I'm just gonna do as much around as I can. I don't want to get it on the ink, but this is clear, so it'll be forgiving if it overspreads. Clean that off. Make sure you get all that pumpkin pie off of there. And then dry it off. Now we're going to use our Versamark, because we know if we don't, it's a waste because it won't work. Do it really, really good. Now, clean that off. Bring this over to here. Now I can see where I got it here on the edges. I can kind of get that off. And this is my favorite part, watching this turn colors. Less tricking, more treating. That one's ready to die cut. Then lastly, we have our baddie for you. And we're just going to do that in the center, and we'll die cut that later. So we'll be die cutting it. So we just kind of want to put it in the center. I'll get my baddie for you. Luckily, this one is going to be easy. And let me see if I can remember to do this first. This is probably the only time I remember to do that first. Okay. Baddie for you. Pumpkin pie. Stamp. And like I said, my pad is dry. I think I did buy a refill, but I didn't do it yet, so I'm gonna have to do this several times. Not a problem, just a little time consuming. That's good enough, I think. And then clean that off. Otherwise I'll have an orange Versamark pad, and even when I did clean it off, I had still some of the red transfer, but I don't know that it's really a problem. You can see it's kind of pink because it's hard to get rid of that red ink. It leaves its mark. Baddie for you. Clean that off. Now I probably will clean these off better after the video because that sticky stuff is probably not good to leave it on there. And where's I think I'm going to use this to hold it because I don't want to burn my fingers. So hopefully that's going to hold it in place. Whoa, even though I used that thing, I still have some of that stuff that wants to stick around the edges. Okay, I think that's got it. Find my sticky part. All right, we have our baddie for you. Now I think that's everything, right? We have Happy Halloween, this, our spider, this, and this. All right, so that's the end of part 1. So I hope you will come back on Friday morning. We'll be die cutting all our little die cuts and assembling our card. It should be fun. So I'll see everyone Friday morning. All right, thanks for watching me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.